Hey everyone, the $1,400 stimulus check question and answer series, part 7. We'll be focusing on will you need to file a 2020 tax return in order to receive your $1,400 stimulus check. Let's get right into it. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much to all of you for leaving your comments and questions down below. Because of you, we have this 7-part series so far. I imagine there's probably going to be more parts to this series coming up. If you happen to be new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Matt. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video. Thank you in advance. I really do appreciate it. All right, let's get right into this. Do you need to file a 2020 tax return in order to claim the $1,400 stimulus check? Well, I'm going to give you the worst answer of all. It depends. I can't stand that answer. But anyway, let's walk through this because it really does depend. In some situations, you will. In some situations, you won't. Well, let me walk through this. This is why we have this as part of the series, because there's a lot of questions about this. Now, one more thing, I just want to make it very clear. I can give you general statements to all these situations, but again, I don't know your exact situation, so I can't advise you on what to do, but rather, I think you're going to find this video to be pretty helpful to narrow this down to tell you if you should or if you shouldn't file a 2020 tax return. All right, so just to know, the IRS is going to be using the either 2019 or 2020 tax return that they have on file for you to determine your eligibility for the $1,400 stimulus check. So, if you're somebody that has maybe a 2018 or older tax return on file with the IRS, again, you might want to consider filing a 2020 tax return just so you can update all of your information with them so that they have the latest information on you and, of course, your direct deposit information. Make sure that is very, very important, critically important that you input your direct deposit information onto your tax return when you file. One more thing, too. I want to talk about Social Security, SSI, and VA beneficiaries for just a second because I know I'm going to get a bunch of questions if I don't address this right away. And that is, if you're an individual receiving Social Security benefits, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, supplemental security income, VA, or RRB benefits, will you need to file a 2020 tax return? Again, I don't know your exact situation, but in general terms, the answer is probably no. The simple answer is probably no for most of you. Now, some of you will need to file, but for the general answer, I would say most of you probably don't need to file. Again, I'm not advising you because I don't know your situation, but if you're receiving any of those benefits that I just mentioned, you should automatically receive your $1,400 stimulus check from the IRS once it's approved here over the coming weeks or whenever it happens to get approved here. So, with that being said, let's continue on. Next situation would be, if your situation changed in 2020 versus 2019, you might want to file a 2020 tax return. Let me give you a couple situations. Situation number 1, in 2019, you earned a pretty nice income, as in over $100,000 or over $75,000. Meanwhile, in 2020, you earned maybe $60,000 or less. It doesn't really matter. You might want to file, well, actually, let me take that back. You want to file a 2020 tax return simply because the income thresholds for the next $1,400 stimulus check are going to be a little bit more restrictive. Therefore, they're going to go off your latest return so that you can get that full $1,400 stimulus check. So that's a good thing you want to keep in mind. Another situation. If you have any missing stimulus checks from 2020, as in you didn't get the $1,200, you didn't get the $600 for either yourself, your spouse, and or your dependents, again, you probably want to file a 2020 tax return so the IRS has all of your most updated and recent information for yourself, your dependents, your spouse, anything like that from 2020. You want to make sure the IRS has all of that information. And remember, it's critically important. Input all of your direct deposit information so that they can send you your electronic payment as quickly as possible. Another situation could be if you had a baby in 2020 or you're going to be claiming an adult dependent in 2020 who you previously did not claim. Again, you probably want to file a 2020 tax return and make sure you claim that dependent on your tax return so that you can get the $1,400 on their behalf when you file your 2020 tax return. And when the IRS processes these payments, they're going to look at it and say, oh, you get $1,400 for you and you get $1,400 for your dependent, whether it's a new child, a baby, congratulations if you're in that situation, or maybe you're claiming an adult dependent of, whatever age. It doesn't really matter. At this point, they're going to be accepting adult dependents once again for the next $1,400 stimulus check. So that could be another situation. What would be other situations? Basically, those are kind of the main ones. If your situation changed, if you have any missing stimulus checks from 2020, there's a lot of you out there. The only way you can get it, according to the guidance from the IRS, would be that you file a 2020 tax return in order to claim it. Make sure you're claiming the recovery rebate credit. So I would say in general, the majority of you probably are good to go. You wouldn't need to file. However, that is one way that you can update your direct deposit information, banking information, whatever it is. That's one way you can do it, is by filing a 2020 tax return. Or, of course, if you're somebody who, you worked in 2020, you have an income of over, $12,000, say $400 or whatever. Basically, if you made 13 grand or more, you need to file a tax return. Again, I can't advise you what to do, but, this is just the parameters. You want to file that tax return because they'll be going off of this to determine, do you get $1,400? This will determine also how quickly you get that money. We want to make sure that you get the money as quickly as possible. So entering in your direct deposit information is so, so important. I know I've said it like 3 times now, but you know what? If you don't enter that updated information in, you're going to get a paper check. And guess how long it takes for a paper check to be distributed? Well, who knows? Months in some instances. It could take months for you to get a paper check in the mail. Well, we don't want you to wait even any longer than you would already need to. So that's why it's so important to have that information updated. Not only that, if your banking information happened to change in, since you got the last stimulus check, as in maybe your bank account changed, maybe you got a new bank account, maybe your old bank account closed, whatever information the IRS has on file, well, if they try to send your payment to a closed bank account and it gets rejected and sent back, guess what? It's going to take even longer because now they need to issue a new payment in the form of a paper check, which again will take probably, who knows how long, a couple months, month and a half or so for it to get to you. That's a really long time. We want to make sure that you get these payments as quickly as possible. So I hope that answers the question for the majority of you asking these questions if you need to file a 2020 tax return in order to claim your $1,400 stimulus check. I would say in general, you're probably good to go and you probably don't need to. But again, I can't tell you what to do because they will go off of your 2019 tax return if you do not have a 2020 on file with them yet. So again, I hope that helps you out. Make sure to share the video if you want with your friends, family, and social media. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button down below, and I will continue to keep you updated throughout the coming days and over the coming weeks with everything else going on. Thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.